Welcome everyone to the show, Combustible Elements, real talk for real people. Here we try to put different ideas and perspectives together in a pot, heat it up, and get an explosion of knowledge and understanding. We understand that problems can only be fixed starting from the bottom to the top, building a great foundation for change and improvement. I'm Big Mel, and I'm joined by Ruben, aka the Monarch, and Aaron, the Hitman. Let's get started. So we back again. Combustible Elements. I'm Big Mel. I'm joined by Ruben the Monarch, Aaron the Hitman. We're back. We're here to talk about a serious topic, a very serious topic. Everybody's experiencing. I think they turned this shit up since the pandemic to all new highs. Scammers. That's the title of the show. Scammers. Watch your back. You gotta watch your back because they out here. They have a whole lot of different techniques and stories. We always say that we're on social media. You can reach out to us. So I put the question up in social media, and a lot of people didn't answer me on the question, but they DM me and told me some of the scams. So we're gonna go into that during the show. I had no idea that this was because I've been scammed recently, and I had no idea that this was so prevalent in society. Guys, Ruben, actually, I know who I'm gonna start with. Ruben, how do you feel about scammers?
I mean, I personally don't care for them because the thing is, like, they go through an extreme route and to try to get money from hardworking people. And that's typically who scammers get the most money out of. It's like your everyday 9 to 5, 40 hours a week or even 80 hours a week person. It's never necessarily like a big corporation that's making millions and millions of dollars. It's typically somebody, an old person or somebody that doesn't know any better. Now, I've people have tried to scam me, but I typically even if I play along or go along with it for a decent amount of time, I usually catch them before they go ahead and follow through and get any money out of me. Funny story. I remember a few years ago, I was on my way to take my kids to school. Somebody called me saying they had kidnapped my brother, and typically I don't fall for that nonsense, but like it just so happened that like my brother's phone wasn't working at the time, so I tried to call him and text him on his regular phone. He wasn't picking up, and he was away. He was away at school, and they're like, "Yeah, man, we got your brother this and that. You better give us X Y Z." I'm like, "What, man? Whatever." It's like, "Yo, if you hang up, your brother gonna die." I'm like, "Yo, listen here, man. You don't even know who my brother is." And then they started describing. I'm like, "Wait a minute. So if you got my brother, like, he's like, yo, listen, if you call the cops, you do anything, this and that." Like it was like it sounded believable, man. Just when I almost went to that, just when I almost, this is when they were still doing like CVS scams or whatever. I almost
Western Union.
yeah, because that's where I had to make the payment. Apparently, I had to go to CVS and I had to deposit X amount of bread, and I was I was almost there. And then my brother texted me like, "Yo, I'm good. What's up?" I was like, "Oh, hey, yo, you mother, man, listen, I let that dude have it." I started stalking, boy, after that, man. Listen, I called him every name under the book. I started Googling the name. Yo, I was like, listen, I'm gonna find you. Yo, I became like the dude from that movie, man. I got a perfect set of skills. I will find you.
Taken. Taken. That's what it was.
Yeah, so that was like I want to say that was my first experience of me remembering somebody trying to scam me. But more recently, with COVID and everything, unemployment scams are on the rise, and you got a bunch of people that I've never seen or never heard of before, basically trying to use the shop as a means to saying that they can't find employment or they can't find gainful employment. Somebody even went as far as saying they started working here in 2012. I didn't even own a business in 2012. So I don't know how they started working. I don't know how they started working in a business that didn't exist in a year that didn't exist. And they stopped working in obviously in 2020 because of lack of work. A bunch of different names. There's been at least I want to say 15 to 20 people so far this year have tried to use the shop and saying that yeah, they used to work here at some point or another. It's and for whatever reason the number is always the same. It's like 35.98. That's like what they make monthly or whatever. I don't know if that's the max that you're allowed to put you know, in order to gain unemployment or whatever the case is. But like that's like the same number, and they all seem to be stopped work, started work around the same time, which is usually 2017, except for the one person that, like I said, that stood out because it was like they started working here in 2012, and
That was your
we didn't start
oldest
in
tenured
2012.
employee. He was there before you started. That was your oldest employee.
Before I was an owner, so I don't even know how they managed that. I have no idea how they managed to become an employee before I was an owner, but you know, that's what they put.
I got one question for you. And you know how I usually try to break your stuff up and come back and make you see a different way, start the dialogue. I just had one question. When the dude called you on the phone and said they had your brother, did they have an accent?
Yeah, man. Spanish. Yeah, they had a Spanish accent.
So that did that make it seem like it could be believable?
Listen, you gotta understand.
You know, like, they snatching people in South America sometimes, and that's what they do.
And the thing is, the reason why I believe it is because my brother at the time was in college. You know what I mean? He's in college, and because he's not home, anything's liable to happen. I don't know. He could have went somewhere. He could, you know, like college students be doing stuff. So at first, I tried to text him from my wife's phone, like, yo, what's up? Where you at? And like, he's not responding. I'm calling, I'm texting, I'm calling, I'm texting. He's like, yo, listen. And the dude's telling me all this stuff. Like, listen, if you try to call the cops, this is gonna happen. If you try to call him, this is what's gonna happen. If you do, I'm like, yeah, whatever. And then I forget what he started saying, and then I'm just started thinking like, okay, well, if I can't get in touch with him, and this dude's saying they got him, and he's saying if I try to, you know, if I hang up the phone and all this other stuff, I'm like, bro, listen, how do I even know you really got it? I'm gonna need proof of life. I forgot what he told me, man, but I'm just like, yo, how is this even? Like, how did this happen? How did this happen? How did we even get here? But luckily, well, I said right before I went ahead and made that payment, man, because like one thing about me is I don't like to spend money on stuff.
Well, they would have had me at it. You hang up, your brother dead. They would have put the brakes on me. Like I'd have been like, y'all, it's bullshit till they said that. Then I would have been saying to myself, okay, what is this? What if this is true? But I
mean, that's what kept me on the phone. Cause I damn sure was about to hang up. I'm like, yeah, whatever, man. Try again, bro. Next subject. But if you watching this video, man, if you see this face, look, if I ever find you, it's a problem. Cause I know weird things have happened. I don't remember his name. I remember his voice though. So if I ever hear that voice again, I'm gonna know who it was.
Well, you ain't gonna never find nobody because the scams is coming from outside the country more so than inside the country.
I pinpointed that number down. Like you're not listening. I was on some taking stuff for that dude, man. Like it was around like 5th Street somewhere on the Spanish side of stuff. I was on this dude's behind. I was on his ass. I promise you I was on his ass. I'm not about to say what was gonna happen, but I was on his ass. Yeah.
So Aaron's
over there laughing.
He's laughing, so we're gonna get him talking because I know somebody tried to scam him before. Look at this smile.
Man, I ain't never get caught up in those scams like that, but you know, I got caught up in those other scams where they call you and be like, oh, I need verification of, you know, at least your middle name and then your social security number. And then I need some verification of what your mom's maiden name is. And it's like, if you call me because I owe you guys a debt, why are you asking me for all my information? So like, I never got caught up in a scam before because like I asked a whole lot of questions, especially because I got student loans and everything. So I just play around with the people that I owe student loans to. So whenever anybody called me that I don't know the number, I don't even answer the phone for people who numbers are in my phone. So if I answer the phone for somebody, that number is not even in my phone. 9 times out of 10, they either a scam or they trying to collect some money that I'm not planning on paying back. So you ask me a question, I'm gonna ask you a question right back. I'm gonna ask you the same question you asked me. Like, you can't call me to get money from me and be like, what's your social security number? What is my social security number? Like, you called me. Why are you asking me questions about either you need the money or you don't? Like, so I never been caught up in any scams. I mean, I know people that be running scams, but I ain't gonna get caught up in those scams. Right now, like the in the beginning, the unemployment scams, them Jones was crazy. It made me mad because I had a job, but people was making like, I mean, I'm working and they all tell me about all the money they taking. Like, oh, I got 2 stacks this week. I'm like, yo, like y'all making crazy money.
Yeah, but they gonna catch up with them people.
Yeah, but you know that's how it is. But for me, I never got caught up in any of the scams. I mean, like you got to actually answer the phone to get caught up in them scams, and that ain't me. Like, so yeah,
Well,
it it's been some crazy things that happened. Like the one time they called me because I actually sold one of my vehicles, and the lady called me and was like that I went through a toll. She told me my license plate number. She's like, I went through a toll, and because I haven't paid the toll that I went through, I owed like $300 or whatever. So it was like in the middle of the morning, and I'm like, I sold the car, and she's like, no, no, it was. She was like, when did you sell the car? So I told her when I sold the car. She's like, oh, well, it was before then. So I'm like, all right, cool. She was like, yeah, you went through the toll, and because we've been trying to notify you, and since you haven't, you got to pay this $300. So you got to pay it today, or it's going to go up. And I'm like, well, I haven't paid it in this amount of time, so it's just going to go up. And she's like, well, I don't want it to go up, so I need you to pay the money. I was like, I'm not paying the money. I was like, so, all right, tell me exactly how fast I was going when I went through the toll. And she was like, what do you mean? I was like, y'all, is speed cams. So in order for you to catch the license plate, they got the cameras, but it's also speed cams when you go through a toll that has an easy pass because you're only supposed to go a certain amount of miles beyond that. And so she like, well, why would we have the information? I was like, you got all the other information. Tell me how fast I was going. I was like, if you tell me how fast I was going, I will pay you this $300 a day. And she's like, I don't have that information. And I was like, all right, well, stop calling me. And I hung up. And like, I never heard from her again. But that was like the only time that I actually like stayed on the phone where it could have possibly been a time that I would have paid the $300. But she wasn't getting me, even though it was early in the morning.
okay, now so that was a good one though, and that's probably because you just put the car up for sale and the tag. They looked up your tag and your phone. They saw the phone number. If you would have just asked them for your address, that probably would have killed all of it because if they could look at the registered car, they
Yeah.
would know what the address is. You know what I mean? Like you, I ask a lot of questions because I want to know answers. Like if you ask me for my social security number, I'm already hanging up. Now, if you ask me for like my last 4 digits or something like that, that means you already got the number. You know what I'm saying? So I will say that. But you're not getting my social security number and you called me. That's number one. Like you, if I don't recognize the number, I don't pick up either. Like if I don't know who you are, I don't pick up. What I do is I call that number back after hours where recording is playing to find out who it was. So if you call me from like if you're a bill collector or if you're what's the new one, warranty seller or some shit like that, when I call you back at 9 o'clock at night, you're not at work. It's going to be the thing pops up with the automated message. The answer machine is going to tell me who you are. So if you one of them places, I just block the number and we done. Um, the one time I called somebody back and they answered the phone was a scammer because I saw a 212 number, which I think was Washington when I looked it up. Because I will look up area codes too, just so people know. Like if you call me and it's an area code, I don't recognize the area. I'm gonna look the area code up. Like where you calling me from? So the guy said he worked for the United States government, but he had an like Indian accent. Okay, so I don't want to sound like I'm discriminating, but if you're working for the IRS, they don't have a telephone center in India. Like, they have a telephone center in Washington. But it was, people can change their number and make another number come up. They've been able to do that for the last couple of years, from what I understand. So the guy said I owed him money. And I told him, like, I started asking questions. What's my address? If you know IRS, you know where I live. IRS send you a letter right away anyway. So you know where I live. You know what my social security number is. You know what my birth date is. Tell me everything that I need to know. And he couldn't answer all the questions. So I was like, well, I need you to tell me something. Stop telling me something. Send me some mail correspondence. And so he got mad and he was like, the cops are gonna come for you. And when they get there, they're gonna beat your ass and shit. Like, I don't know if you ever got the messages where they say you're gonna get arrested. This is a legal thing when they leave it and shit. But he had left one of those messages. So now for a month after that, I waited about 15 days. And then I started calling him at any time of the day. Anytime I thought about it, I kept calling him back. And he kept answering the phone. I guess he had to answer it because he was scamming. So he looking to make some money or whatever. So he kept answering the phone and he was like, I'm gonna fuck you up. You still call me, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. So he was getting upset because I was playing, but it was fun to me. Like, it was fun to me. So that was the one of, that wasn't one of the most recent ones, but that was the telephone scam when somebody got me. The most recent scam, I think I talked to you guys about it. I was just sitting down on my phone and then I got a notification from PayPal and it said your $190 transaction went through. Huh? So I didn't think nothing of it. I was just like, huh? All right, I check my PayPal in a minute. So I'm sitting down there. And then I look at PayPal and it's saying I made a $190 transaction for sneakers. And it had my name and some address in New Jersey, right? Which I don't live in New Jersey. But I guess somehow they knew that I lived in Philadelphia or whatever. So you know how sometimes you get those emails beforehand that say your password may have been corrupted and then they pop up. Like sometimes I look at that and see if it's actually an old password. And one of those old passwords, one of my oldest passwords is the password that I had on the PayPal at the time. And one of my oldest emails was the email I had on there. So I guess they used that and that was enough to get in and then do the transaction. Now, I did some checking with the name that they used and I couldn't find anybody on Facebook or Instagram in the United States with that name. So like you said, I'll find you. It wasn't no fine to him because he was in another country. So PayPal ended up reversing the charges because they can prove it wasn't me. Like they reversed it before the end of the night. So they knew it wasn't me. However, and then I don't use my PayPal account for a whole bunch of stuff anyway. However, when I was talking to my bank, because I got all my bank information changed because it was linked to it, the account number and all that other stuff. And they were like, no, this be happening all the time. You know, that's why you got to go through PayPal first because, you know, the bank is slowing up on how many of the transactions they're going to honor because it's happening so much with people's stuff getting stolen. So I don't know if it's because of the pandemic right now or just people are stealing. How do you guys feel about the new ransom schemes that they're doing? And that goes to what you said, Ruben, about how the big companies aren't really getting scammed, but they are getting scammed. They being held hostage. And because we have cryptocurrency and Bitcoins that they can't really trace, that's what they asking for. You want me to turn this back on? I need $7 million. I need $10 million. How you guys feel about that?
I mean, personally, if they get into big corporations, I'm gonna be devil's advocate. I don't really care too much on that aspect because it's like a lot of those guys they raping most the regular people anyway. You know, like from their workers that they're not paying adequate wages. You know, to the everyday consumer that they spend millions and billions of dollars for in advertising to make sure that like every dollar that you're making, that you're barely even making, that you know to take care of yourself, you're giving it right back to them. You know, as far as like whatever product that they sell, whatever products that they provide or whatever, overpriced. So a lot of the bigger corporations, in my opinion, you know, they get products at a very cheap rate. They spend millions of dollars in advertising to make sure that, you know, you now come and buy this product that they purchase at a very cheap rate, you know, for a premium, you know, for the little bit of money that you're making. So if they can't spend the money to make sure they got proper, you know, malware and proper, you know, technology to make sure they don't get hacked by scammers, that's tough luck for them. The everyday American is busy working. They're busy working. Like for little to no money as it is, inflation keeps going up. Everything keeps going up. And are you supposed to be paying money on top of that? The money that you don't even have for cybersecurity on top of it? Nah. Let the big guys get hit with that. The regular folks, they shouldn't be getting got, but they are too, unfortunately. But they shouldn't be getting scammed. But if the big corporations get scammed, yeah, I don't feel too bad about them. Not even a little bit.
Okay. Okay, before you answer, Aaron, I'm gonna comment on what you just said, Ruben, because you said it's not really hurting the people. When they ransom like a hospital, your medical records and shit, like they hurting people. They got to hold off on surgeries because they can't get to your medical records because everything is imaging or done by computers, and they transfer them from the doctor's office, so they can't get your medical records. When they hit that pipeline and on the East Coast going to South Carolina, the southern East Coast, you know, it stopped the gas flow. People couldn't get gas and shit. You know, people still use kerosene. People still get gas in their house. People use it for their cars and they stove. They couldn't get no gas because they froze it for like a week. They fucked up the supply chain. So, and then the stores that they hit, when they hit Target a couple years ago, they took like $2 from every person. They didn't take it from Target. They took it from the people that use their car at Target.
That's
so
my
even
point.
though
They're taking it from the regular people. That's the issue. Target is
yeah,
something.
but I mean, yeah, but when they hit the big
Sure.
company, when they hit the big company, it's going to flow down and hurt the little guy. Even if they don't get the money exactly from the little guy, the big company is going to recoup their losses by making shit more expensive or harder to do stuff for the little guy. Like you can't get change everywhere. You think that's a fucking accident that you can't get change? They want you to use your card more. That's not no accident. They ain't run out of no fucking change. They just want you to use your card. You know what I'm saying?
They printed more money, and majority of the money that we got now is monopoly anyway. And you know they're not minting money because somebody got to be out there minting, quarters and cents and dimes and nickels and all that other stuff. And for years now, it costs more to make a penny than a penny's actually worth.
I mean, I understand that, but once they hit the pandemic and they didn't have enough change, people started conserving it, not going out and they saving their change. Like they ain't taking it to the banks, otherwise it'd be back in the system. Like they didn't have to make nothing because it was going back in the system.
Not enough money though, because they printing money. They not printing coins, like they printing bills. So, and then everybody got them stimulus checks. So it's more cash. It's more cash out there, but it's no change.
Well, you got the check. Yeah, they put the stimulus check on paper when you had to go drop it in the bank account or drop it at the check you however people go do their shit. But I mean,
stimulus checks don't got bank accounts.
Okay, well they want you to check cash in place.
ATM drop cash. They don't drop change. Like when they drop the money in your bank. You go to the ATM, you take out dollar bills, you take out 20s, 10s. They don't give you change.
But this is my point. They wanted to move everybody to using cards for everything, and that's what they're doing. So I don't think it's happenstance that it ain't no fucking change. You know what I mean? Like I don't think it's happenstance. I think it's done on purpose. However, Aaron, I forgot the damn question. We was gonna go to you. I forgot the question.
I know what I was gonna say. I don't know what the question was though. But
okay, what was you gonna say?
Like at the end
Let's hope you was paying attention.
Yeah, I was paying attention. Y'all started going on a tangent about change. Like
that was me.
Change.
But I don't think nobody should get scammed. I hats off to the scammers though, because they hustling. They making new ways to scam people. But I don't think business or big business or small business or individuals should be getting scammed, because at the end of the day, Ruben pointed out big businesses that's getting scammed. And he like, basically I don't care. But at the same time, all them Asian barbershops that charge $5 for haircuts could look at you like you a big dog because your haircuts is more than $5. So they could be like, I hope Ruben gets scammed because he wanted the big barbershops. He pulling in customers, but he charging too much because we only charging $5 a head.
They charge their price so they could undercut businesses like mine. They park up in these black communities, in these communities that they particularly don't live. They just come in those communities strictly to do business. You know, they come in, they do business, they take all the money that they can take, and they roll out. They don't come back, they don't do no drives, they don't do no give backs. You know, and a lot of times the customer service is not up to par either. But nobody cares, you know, because it's only $5. They only see it as $5. But $5 add up.
All I'm saying, I mean, they can say the same thing about you because do you live over top of your shop?
No.
All right, so you came in, set up shop, and then you go back to your crib when you're done. They can be like, Ruben need to get scammed. We about to call our cousins to scam Ruben because he's making too much money.
Listen, they tried. Believe me, they tried. They done tried the Pico scam on me. They done tried. Yeah, they got.
I heard about that one.
And what the worst part is, there's a Pico number when you call. Like when you call it back, it says it's a Pico phone number. I don't know how they managed to do that, to where they can call you on a number. It comes up as Pico, and they telling you you're behind in your bill. They're gonna come shut your bill down if you don't pay X amount of money for that day, and they're gonna come shut it down. And I'm like, wait, I got a business.
I kind of figured out how they can do that, but I'm not gonna say it because I'm not gonna give none of these bastards no good ideas. But I got an idea how they can do that.
Like if you call the number back, it's actually Pico's number. So they've tried. They've tried in every way, shape, or form to get something out of me. But I'm no.
Well, I'm gonna say this. I ain't paying no $5 haircut. If you offering me service for $5, I don't want it. You touching my head. That's number one. Number two is, have y'all seen the email scams that they be sending?
Oh, listen, I get them all.
This is gonna be shut off. This is going. They can't even type the shit in English. You know what I mean? They be like, your Netflix account is on hold, and Netflix is like 10 words.
I already know. Okay, so I'm gonna give out. See, the bad thing about this is, it's like, on the one hand, if you know what to look out for, and you tell everybody what to look out for, all they do is switch it up. So I know what to look out for whenever I see certain emails, you know. And I'll just say this: make sure it looks official. You know, this way that can kind of help somebody without you know giving out too much hints to the scammers that are probably going to watch this and figure out better ways to scam. But make sure everything is official, because typically businesses have, you know, official emails and things like that. So make sure it's official if you're gonna get an email telling you got to do XYZ or you got to pay XYZ, because official companies use official emails.
Well, see, they get me because I don't open none of my emails.
You don't open texts after 2 sentences. You don't open emails. You don't answer the phone. Dude, you live in a stone age like you Fred Flintstone or something. Are you serious?
I'm constantly checking emails every day. I'm constantly like, I could easily be like, okay, you know what, I'm gonna put my phone on, you know, if it's an unknown number, it goes straight to voicemail. But at any given time, I could have different people calling me for different reasons. So sometimes I do know, I do pick up, and it's one of those telemarketers, you know, trying to sell, hey, listen, your warranty company, blah, blah, blah. And that those always, you know, piss me off, because I'm like, I just wasted my time picking up this phone call. But it'll be the one time when I don't pick it up, and it was actually a good phone call from somebody else calling me about something. So
they'll leave a message. Just listen to your messages, dog. They leave a message. If it's a good message, they leave a message. See, I'll listen to the messages. I just won't pick up the phone. So if it's a good message, I'll call them back. Like, I just won't pick up. Like, listen, I'm not. And then they text message you anyway. So you can look at the text messages. They change the voice into like text words. So you can look at it and see what they're saying anyway, without listening to it. Like, nah. If it's unknown, well, you don't want to be known. I know people that still got their number unknown when they call people. You call me, I'm not answering it, so it don't even matter.
My number's unknown, I mean? If it's not saved. If you don't got my number saved, it's coming up unknown.
I'm glad I got your number saved.
2006, man.
I wouldn't be answering it.
2006. I'm not changing my number for nobody.
Or I might call you back after you got my number down. I'll call you back after you leave a message, but if it's unknown, like, nah, you one dead duck, yo. Like, hell no, me, because they would know not to have their shit unknown and call me. They know what I'm gonna do. You know what I mean? Or if you call and then don't text, you know, but it's all kind of scams. And I guess we'll do a part 2 to this show, because in my inbox, like I put the question out there, they had all kind of stuff. And I'm gonna tell everybody right now, if somebody say Cash App you some money to provide some service and you do it, you stupid and you just got scammed. All right, straight up. I'm telling you now. So if you do it after you hear me, you stupid. You just got scammed. Don't Cash App nobody no more. You can't reverse a Cash App. And if they're a business and you can't PayPal them through the business service portion of it, they scammed your ass.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
Okay. You can send them.
You just got scammed.
You just got scammed. You just got done. And like, at least with the PayPal, you have a chance to get your money back. With Cash App, you're dead done. You're done. It's over. It's a wrap. As soon as you hit done on the phone, you done. Just so we clear. I'm saying it like this, and I hope you don't feel bad if they got you, but I hope you don't do it again. You should raise Cash App from your phone so you don't have that option. But anybody ask you to Cash App them something? Boom. Anybody call you and tell you to go Western Union them something? In this day, with credit cards, everybody takes your credit card, your debit card, your ATM card, whatever. Everybody takes them. If you got to go Western Union or something, you're done. You just got dead. And guess what? You just got dead by somebody overseas, so you ain't never get that shit back. You're just done. You're done.
You come again.
But I want to thank everybody for joining us on Combustible Elements. This was more a public service announcement, a PSA, because people are getting scammed out here, and it's at an all-time high. And especially older people who are unaware of things. On my podcast, I'm going to make a point to talk about this tomorrow, about how old people, specifically people with health things, they get scammed. Aaron talks about it on his show. We talk about whatever we need to on this show. And then we're going to try to bring up your awareness. Everything is not about social change. Some things are about the present and fixing them now, not in the future. And that's why we always trying to say, like we say, we building from the bottom to the top. Please don't get scammed so you can save your money. Don't just give it. Please don't give it. Remember, Cash App, or if they send it to you at cash backwards because they can't put it in the right way, don't send your money. Okay.
So who we blaming for scams then? Who we blaming?
We blaming the people that get scammed. That's who I'm blaming. You should read this shit.
Stupidity.
Stupidity.
You gotta blame the parents. The parents should have told them.
Don't be stupid. Listen, I can agree with you on that.
I'm sure they got scammed today sometimes. So
your mama should have told you don't be stupid. Me and Aaron on the same page.
Blaming the parents.
Who you blaming, Ruben? Let me be Ruben. The government, the government, the government. Okay, right, Ruben, who you blaming?
You gotta blame the government.
Goddamn government.
No, always like it's a community effort. You gotta, the people next door gotta come into the community. So we blame the people next door.
There's enough people get scammed. It's a community of them, and they all stupid, stupid, stupid. Okay. I want to thank everybody for joining us for Combustible Elements. I'm joined by Aaron the Hitman, Ruben the Monarch. I'm Big Mel. Peace out. We'll talk in the future.
Peace.